So hello, welcome back to Go Again Gaming and the League That Means Nothing, Season 3, about to wrap it up all here today. So we were originally going to record this together, so me and Ian were going to do this together, but on the day of recording, I got back from a very, very long weekend, and I was just like, I just need to sleep now. I can't deliver a performance, and I'm absolutely knackered, and my legs feel like jelly. So we're going to be giving it over to Ian to do this solo, as he has done for a lot of the games here on the League That Means Nothing. Shout out to Ian, done a fantastic job, your voice of the league for Season 3, and future seasons, that's for sure. Don't worry about that, he'll be back, and will be back for Season 4. All the participants of the League That Means Nothing Season 3, all 56 of them have been notified of the Season 4, which is going to begin, and 40 of those people have signed on to do it all over again here on the channel. 40! So we've already got 40 participants before we've even publicly announced that there is going to be a Season 4, and there will be a Season 4. So stay tuned to my Twitter, my Blue Sky, my YouTube, which you're on now, for announcements on how you're going to enter that publicly, because we are going to be able to do that very, very soon. That being said, this is the final. I want to thank all the sponsors that have come along with us to help sort of financially sustain and justify the amount of work that we do here. So thank you very much to Enter the Battlefield Gaming out of Ontario, Canada. My Metal Cards that do some fantastic My Metal Cards who do some fantastic metal card tokens. All the Patreon members who still contribute to the Go Again Gaming channel at large. Green Tree Sports Cards out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Void Games out of Crewe, Cheshire, and the Sigilet Games out of the UK that do some fantastic alters that you can go and pick up for all your favourite cards as well. That being said, Rob versus Vynsett, Rob versus Jay in this game. I am going to be taking Rob's deck to London, actually. So the tweet that I put out is not fake news. I am going to be taking Prism to London. To what degree of success, I don't know, but it should be interesting. Just want to thank everybody, all the donations that have come in as well. I've had a couple more since I last came on and said about it. But if you want to help support the league, that's the best way to do it. Or obviously contribute towards my Patreon, because that's still going to be online. Or if you wanted to become a sponsor of League 4, and you want to have your logos and adverts and stuff displayed on the overlays and stuff, then by all means reach out to me. I'll do some very, 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 very good rates on that. Because ultimately this league means nothing, right? So yeah, thank you very much. I'll throw it over to Ian now, who's going to cast the finals, which is Prism versus Vynsett. What a game. Let's go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between. We have finally made it. You're here with me, your voice of the league, Ian Holland, as we're about to embark upon the absolute culmination of all of our hard work here, all of Az's hard work, and we're going to watch the final of the League That Means Nothing 3. It's the biggest league that's ever been done, and it's truly some incredible stuff. Like 54 players to start off, crazy. Every hero represented, insane. It's just a wild, wild time. And what's more wild is we have Shadow versus Light. James White was telling us Dusk till Dawn will have its day. And here it is, an all DTD final. So, we have Rob Andrews, Prism Awakener of Soul. Jay, Vynsett Iron Maiden. Rob had a very strong league. Jay kind of had to scrap his way through and claw a bit. I would say the general consensus might be that Vynsett can absolutely dumpster this one, but you can't write an illusionist off. An illusionist can just take the whole game, or can go to like 3 or 4 and then be like, cool, here's hammer. You never get there. You just don't get to keep enough cards to actually do anything. So I'm going to get a call to action nice and early. Who do you think is going to win? Comments below. I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm very excited. I don't know who could possibly win this one. So, no more messing around. We're just going to go over to the gameplay. I cannot wait for this to wrap up and see who really is the winner of the biggest league we've ever had. Over to the gameplay. And it looks like we do have Rob going first. He was the higher seed, so that would make sense to me. Both players absolutely kitted out. Rob rocking Vestige of Soul, knowing this is kind of going to be a game that comes down to outvaluing your opponent. Pitching a Figment and sending in this Herald of Protection blue. Now, Jay, are you a gambling man? Are you going to block 5 or are you going to block 6 pop and hope that we get through here? Is Rob going to pop the Halo early, or are we just going to accept that this is a thing that's going to happen? We're going to filter our card. We're going to play into Footsteps, 1 floating, and play a Passing Mirage. So there you go, Jay. That's your lot in terms of Phantasm, unless you are willing to take some time to deal with that Mirage. And here we go, Jay's turn 1. It's been incredible to watch Jay. He has been so clean in his Vynsett play. It's not really something I've seen a ton of. I'm not a huge Vynsett gamer. But here we have Banish a Funeral Moon, play a Deadwood Dirge. So we're going to pop our 1 rune chant into 3 rune chants. It looks like we've missed our Tunic trigger. Rob with the big dice. Jay deciding, maybe we'll use the digital life total to make life not absolute hell on our illustrious leader and editor here on Go Again Gaming. But Jay is playing this Deadwood Dirge. Rob has not really done anything. I wonder what is going to happen here. We've got the Tunic. We've got the Tunic. We remembered the Tunic. Good on you, Jay. And then we're going to Deadwood Dirge. So we have 3 rune chants in the bank. We're going to attack with the Flail. So 3 Arcane. We're going to use the Flail to deal with the Passing Mirage. And then play the Funeral Moon to make a rune chant. So we're going to end the turn with our rune chant, but we're at least going to threaten a little bit of damage. Jay, very, very disciplined here, knows that these auras can get out of hand if you start letting Prism thunk you in the head. So Jay going to end his turn with a rune chant in play. Rob has 3 Arcane to think about. And we're going to pitch a blue, deal with all of the Arcane. And then the Passing Mirage is going to blow up Arsenal and draw up and pass. Rob, 3-card hand here, so we're looking at a single Herald. And it's going to be a Herald of Ravages. Pitching Erudition. Knows that Erudition isn't going to get it done at this stage of the game with Face Purgatory. Even if Jay doesn't have a 6, he's going to have a 6. Do you have a 6, Jay? Are we going to trigger Phantasm? Yes, we in fact have a 7 because we are now insulated. We would have been insulated against a Halo play because of the 7, but also our opponent didn't have the cards in hand. Now we're going to banish a Widespread Ruin. Not going to miss our Tunic trigger this time. No jump in the gun here for Jay. Thinking his turn through. Priority has not been passed yet, so Rob, if Rob ever finds the ALS, you have to wait until at least one thing happens. So we're going to tear through the portal, going to pay a life. So one of these rune chants is forced through, and Widespread Ruin is going to attack. It's pretty good. Are we? Wait, do we have another play? We are going straight for a Halo play here. Going to turn this widespread ruin down, face down. Very nice, very nice. At the same time, this, yeah, it's getting the Figment of Judgment, trying to shut down Jay's first turn here. So Rob going to end up still with 3 cards in hand. Card in Soul, card in Arsenal. Pitching Figment of Rebirth. Never what you want to see them. Very important to know for those watching at home. You have to draw first off the Halo, which sometimes can be a bit of a pain in the arse. Because if you draw the Figment you are about to search, you are going to be very sad. So we have a face down Banish Zone. Rob has his first Soul. I can't imagine this Figment of Judgment is long for this world. We don't get any free flips with Prism right now, so we're going to pitch and send in a War Tune Herald for 6 go again. Don't worry, guys. Phantasm's the downside. Let's see what Jay has to say about this one. Jay says, yeah, here's a Funeral Moon and a Machinations. Kind of tells me maybe only has 1 Rune Gate attack in hand and wants to hang on to it, or the Rune Gate is not very good. But we're going to buff this by 2. Halo, so card to Soul. We get to search for a Figment. Now, the downside here of obviously not having the Vestige of Sol. Having the Vestige of Sol over having the Empyrean Rapture. We do have to pay to activate Prism. Obviously, the upside being that our light cards pitch for more. So we're going to get a Figment of War. So this is going to create Rob a Courage token. Now, either we're going to flip an Angel here, or we're going to simply Arsenal. Yeah, it's just Arsenal. We're going to try and set up our board state so that when we get a chance, we can send full blast. Yeah, it was a 5 power Rune Gate. So we're going to 3. We're going to tear through the portal here to pay life to Vynsett. So we're going to guarantee that Rob is taking at least 1 rune chant, and Jay is going to gain 2 life from this. So in comes Deathly Delight with 3 arcane and 5 go again. On the close of the combat chain, for each player who's lost a life, Jay will gain a life. And bearing in mind, obviously, if Rob were to have a conniption and flip one of these Figments into its angel side, he would still be taking the damage, because when damage can't be prevented, Ward says, "Get down, Mr. President," and then dies. A good old Stormy Gloomvale trick from back in the day as Viscera taking on OG Prism. So 2 more arcane coming and 5 physical. Rob thinking about whether we're taking all of this. We're taking the arcane. The arcane probably doesn't matter anymore. But we have 5 physical coming in. And we say no blocks, and we get Succumb to Temptation from the Arsenal. Pretty good one. So what is Rob going to do here? Pitch to Soul Shield. That'll do. That's all right. Then we're going to pay a life and attack with our Flail of Agony. So we're going to send in the Flail for 1. Is it worth your time blocking? Can our opponent just have a rune chant? Who knows? We're about to find out. Yeah, we're going to pitch into Footsteps. So no rune chants for Jay, but he is going to go back to 36 at the end of this combat chain and draw up. So far, Rob playing a very clean game. Multiple cards in Soul here. And he's going to, because of Vestige, pitch up to play Merciful Retribution. Okay. This is a very, I would say, old school Awakener of Soul list. This is the kind of game plan that is very, very good into things like Guardian, slower matchups, decks that don't attack a lot, but really, really suffers into the very aggressive, hyper-aggressive decks, because it's kind of hard to beat them down with Heralds when your hand gets clumped up by auras. Now, this could be a sideboard package. Who knows? Just going to draw 4 and pass to Jay, who's going to banish a good one. The old widespread destruction. Then we're going to dirge our rune chats. Nice. So we are locking in at least 1 attack. And it looks like Rob has a response here. It is going to be Arclight Sentinel. Rob is really just not wanting to play this game at all. I assume Jay, letting this resolve, is just going to pop the Arclight Sentinel with the Flail of Agony. Unless he has something else in mind. It's a very frustrating play pattern. But Rob can't do this forever. And when you do things like this, you do not push advantage to the board. And you allow a deck like Vynsett to set things up a little bit. And it does look like it's just going to be a Flail of Agony. Targeting ALS, so sending 3 Arcane. We have missed a life loss on the Flail, but... And ALS dies, goes to Soul, which triggers Merciful to deal 1 Arcane. Surprised Jay didn't sort of pitch to that instead of taking the IP and then taking the 1 Blood Debt and drawing up. Again, I don't think there's a lot Rob can do here with just the 1 card. That's a Passing Mirage, of course. I think Jay is going to have to realize that this board state is becoming untenable for him to control, and it's just going to be more important to deal with Rob's face. Okay, banishing a Phantom Banshee Wraith. The 2-cost one. Tunic for probably Envelop in Darkness. Looks like it. Yeah, it is indeed Envelop in Darkness. So +3 to our next Rune Gate attack and a second Rune Chant here. And we are paying to Vynsett for it. Are we? We have a Vynsett trigger anyway. We are paying to Vynsett. Okay. What has Jay got in mind here? We're going to Machinations of Dominion. So go again and overpower to our next attack. And then we're going to come in here for 2 arcane, one of which is unpreventable, and 9 physical. With go again. Very importantly. So pitching to prevent the rune chant that we can prevent. Blocking with Arclight here. Or not Arclight, Herald of Erudition. Are we adding? Oh, we're going to Succumb as well. Not only do we have go again, we're netting an action point here. See if Rob has any response to Succumb to Temptation. So we're up an action point now. Officially. Rob really thinking about this one now. There's only 2 cards in hand. If Jay has something like a Read the Runes here, Rob is about to get his world rocked. Yeah, the damage is taken and the Thoughtseize effect is going to happen. Do you want to take the Merciful or the Erudition? I would probably err on the side of taking the Aura because you can deal with Erudition in multiple ways, but you could also take the Erudition and that would be the third one, and it's just we're probably running out of them then. So we have taken the Erudition. And how are we following up? We are flailing. Again, we have missed a life loss on this flail. We're taking out the passing, so dealing an arcane. We still have 1 action point. I would be a big fan of taking out the Merciful myself, but look. I have past Prism trauma, you know what I mean? So Rob is simply going to arsenal this other Merciful. We're going to banish a Deathly Wail, generating our rune chant. Jay has the momentum here, so we're really going to have to keep at it. No, yeah, taking up Tunic and going to pop this Quill Hand to get our 3rd rune chant. Obviously, if we threaten with our whites, and here's the ALS. Rob, man, you're a murderer. Oh, nice. So we're just going to pitch for a Deathly Wail. Keep our cards in the banish zone. And sending 3 arcanes, so 2 of which is going to go through. And ALS gets blown up, goes to Soul, and Jay can choose whether or not to take. Oh, we're continuing to take the intellect penalties here. So taking our 2 blood debt. Jay obviously trying to set up a powerful double rune gate turn, and we're pretty much clear of Arclight Sentinel now, I think. That's at least two. Banishing a Cull, generating a rune chant. So very strong position here for Jay. Playing a Malefic, making three with three counters on it. This card is so busted. Every time, once per turn, when you attack, make a rune chant. And Jay just going to take Blood Debt and pass. Phenomenal stuff. So what is Jay setting up is my question. All right, Light of Soul for a War Tune. Is it a yellow? It's a yellow, goes to Soul, trigger Prism. Going to get a... who knows? This is one of those matchups that is very tricky to navigate. Getting a Figment of Triumph. Very nice, very nice. So if Jay chooses to try and trigger Phantasm, well, he can't, you know? Could be a good face Purgatory turn. So this is actually 6, thanks to that Courage token. We know the Arsenal is a Merciful Retribution. We don't... we do have a resource floating. 2 cards in hand. Obviously, if we pop this anyway, it goes to Soul. This is the thing about Merciful. When Merciful's in play, their Phantasm doesn't matter. And it is going to be a face Purgatory here. Attack, non-attack, and face. So we're going to block a total of 7 here. So we get to draw a card. Rob gets to respond, obviously. Prism full of instant shenanigans. Rob kind of in a spot here, thinking about whether do I just pitch to play this Merciful. And yes, it is in fact going to be pitch. Thanks to Vestige having a card gone to Soul, we're going to pitch up to 4, use a bunch of that to activate Prism, using 2 to activate and flip our Rebirth. Please remove a card from your Soul, Rob. So, you know, we're all missing things here. Because you do need to, in fact, banish from Soul to flip. But that is the turn. That is the Herald blocked. And then going to swing with the Rebirth. Now, we should be minus 2 cards in Soul, but let's see if that becomes relevant. Because if that runs out of Soul, you know, your angels are just angels. Is Jay thinking about playing this Cull? Oh, it was Figment of Judgment. You may banish a card from the Hero Soul. If you do, turn a card in any banish zone face down. Jay, are you just going to take... Surely you just take the damage here. So block 3, take 1. Demis, very underutilized angel. Mostly utilized in the front face to mess with Katsu combos and Zen combos. Jay going to banish a widespread. Trigger, make a rune chant. Do we have a game plan? We do. We have another Malefic incantation. Okay. We have the Beseech the Demigod, so we pay a life. So this angel is dead. You got your one shot out of her. And now we're going to send 2 arcane, one of which is unpreventable, and 9 physical. And we're going to generate 2 rune chants with this attack. So Rob goes to 16 here. We have 1 arcane and 9. Rob is officially going to banish the top card of his deck, as is Jay. So we are going to pitch to that 1 arcane. Probably considering playing our Merciful Retribution in Arsenal. Going to block 3. For sure. And we're going to flip another angel, which is going to play Get Down, Mr. President. So that's 7 total block. And 2 damage goes through. Bearing in mind, Rob should still be on 1 less soul, Jay should be on 2 less life. And then we're going to close the combat chain. Both players banish the top card of their deck. Very nice. Jay banishing an Eloquent Eulogy. Taking 3 blood debt here. Rob also banished a Parable of Humility. Not a bad card. But we know that is still a Retribution in Arsenal. And let's see what Rob does with the 2 cards in hand. Jay obviously going to get to swing with at least one of his big dinguses here. And we have a pitch of a Figment of Ravages flipping Belana. So we have Figment of War. And a swing with Belana. We're going to put a counter on it by banishing a card from Soul. So this may end up actually becoming relevant with the cards from Soul. Just saying. Sometimes I know what I'm doing. Just saying. So we have 5 coming in at Jay. Well, unless Jay can't use his entire hand, I don't see any reason to block this angel. Since this is the last angel Rob actually has, I think it might be dying. Just thinking out loud, you know? Rob going to draw up. And Jay going to banish a Deathly Whale. Oh, that blood debt is starting to stack up though. Like 4 is not usually a number you want to see in your banish zone for Vynsett. So we're going to come in, Death Whale, 3 arcane, generating 2 on the back swing here. So 3 and 6 if any damage is taken. Jay gets to generate a 3rd. And we have 3 cards in hand and our Tunic counter. So those Spellbound Creepers might be coming into play this turn. Rob has to block all of this in order to keep Belana on the board. Otherwise, she gets axed. Probably going to pitch to the Rune Chance because you don't want your Ward 4 Angel dying because of a single point of damage. I assume we're explaining how Spellbound Creepers works here. Let's find out what happens here. Both players equal in life total. So we have our 3 arcane first for Rob to figure out. Not ideal. Not great. Split damage is a bit of a curse that illusionists have often hated. So Viceroy was so good at holding Prism out. Rob having to pitch 2 yellows is not a good sign here. Because if Jay can continue this turn, we're pretty much locking in on dealing some damage. And we're going to block out this Deathly Whale entirely. Very importantly, Jay can continue this combat chain with Spellbound Creepers and extend through keeping this Deathly Whale ability active. So we're going to activate our Tunic to activate Spellbound Creepers, putting a bind counter on them. Because we have attacked with an attack action, we can, in fact, play a non-attack as an instant. It's going to be Beseech the Demigod. Because when you play something with Go Again as an instant, you generate an action point, because Go Again is shorthand for generating an action point. Jay still with 2 cards in hand now. If he pays a life for this Beseech, then closes the combat chain, he will generate an extra rune chant as well. Man's tapping the table, doing the math. Doing the math. What are we doing? Yeah, not paying for Vynsett. Choosing not to, opting not to. Yeah, we're paying for Vynsett. Let's go. So Rob is going to be forced to take a point of damage here. So if Jay closes the combat chain here, Rob isn't able to ALS. So we don't have that here. If we close the combat chain now, which we have, we're going to generate a rune chant for each player that's lost life, which includes Jay. It's very smart. Not a play I would have thought of, but I'm not a Vynsett main, I guess. Yeah, we've given +3 to this Deathly Whale. So this looks like Jay could be setting up for a nice triple Runegate turn. We are going to pop Grimoire of the Haunt as well, pitching to make a Eloquence token, which means that our next non-attack gains Go Again. And using that to play Cull as an instant. Oh, beauty. Absolute stunning stuff here. So Cull being played as an instant, gaining Go Again, means we generate a second action point. So Jay has no cards in hand, but is going to be able to triple Runegate this turn, clearing out that Blood Debt, and I think clearing out Rob's life total. So Rob is going to have to banish this card from hand. Oh. So we're going to be able to Deathly Whale, generate 2 rune chants on the back end, and then send in Eloquent Eulogy. I think Jay just explaining to Rob what I have just explained to our lovely audience. Rob probably seeing the writing on the wall here, counting up the damage. What are we going to do? Especially like Jay just landing this on the perfect turn with a Genesis and an Angelic Wrath. You know, we don't have a whole lot of blocking going on here from Rob, and this is really why a lot of decks have veered away from these aura plans. Because if you're not able to block in an aggressive meta, you might just get busy living or get busy dying. So I think we're counting up the damage here. And we're going to play this out. just to have it played, I guess, because it's going into the banish zone either way. I feel like you might have been better off. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah. So we have 3 rune chants. When we close the combat chain here, in comes 9 and 3, going to 1 action point. Rob takes 9, takes 12. Sorry. And that is going to be the game. Oh my god, what a finish. Jay, man, what an explosive finish to that game. And thankfully, neither of the missed triggers are going to come into it. We can say this was about as clean a final of the league that means absolutely nothing as you could get. Really, really well played, guys. Rob, like, stellar job. Prism, for those who are kind of unaware, with Luminaris Angel's Glow has become one of the secret best decks coming into Pro Tour London. Don't tell anyone. I won't be playing it because, I'm a Runeblade for life, and if I play an Illusionist, someone will come and kick me in the head. But you could. Be good. As for Vynsett, man, a friend of mine, friend of the channel, Guillaume Las Heras, Ireland's favourite Flesh and Blood judge, sorry guys, is on record as saying Vynsett is hard to play, but she might be one of the most broken decks in CC right now. And with a performance like that, it's really hard to argue with it. It's just that finish. That finish alone was incredible stuff. Congratulations, Jay. Sorry, I've been talking about the game. Jay, congratulations. You won the league. You won the league that means nothing. You've brought it home to the monastery. Well done, Jay. Well done, Zen State Fab. So, if you want to learn how to play Vynsett like that, YouTube channel Zen State Fab. I believe Jay has a Discord as well. Obviously, none of this is take away from the great play that Rob did, but hey, look, it all means nothing. But I bet it means a lot to these players. I bet it means a lot to Jay to have made it all the way and won. Congratulations again. What do you think of the final? It's only one. Let me know. You gotta like the video. If you like the video, like the video. If you thought this was a good game, if you thought it was a bad game, if you thought anything about it at all, please let us know down in the comments. And please send all of your love to Az, who has done a stellar job generating all of this hype around the league, getting sponsors, editing it, allowing me to talk about the game I love on the internet for all you lovely people. So big shout out to Az. Make sure you shout him out in the comments and make sure you subscribe, because if you subscribe and you talk about this, who knows? We might bring it back again. We might be back for League 4. We don't know yet, but we'll find out. I'm still blown away, but for 6 rounds of Swiss, for 3 rounds of top 8, for this incredible final, I have been your voice of the league, Ian Holland. I don't know when I'll see you again, but trust me, when there is one, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.